Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Medieval Dynasty and we're going to be bringing you a comprehensive food and water guide. So this is going to be the quintessential how to survive. I'm going to tell you each thing there is about the eating and drinking and health management system in this game. So it's actually pretty simple. We're going to start off with one of the more simple aspects of it, which is water. And as you can see from the map, this is not a desert. You've got plenty of water all around. Every single body here is all fresh water. I've found none of it to be stagnant, none of it to make me sick, none of it to be salt water. So you can drink from any body of water you can see, down to the smallest trickle or the biggest river. And the bar that indicates your water is going to be the farthest to the right down in the left hand where you have that circle. And that's the blue one. So that's the one that you have to pay attention when it comes to being thirsty. And you just go to any source of water, hold E, and drink. And that's really water. Water is the one I started with because it's the easiest. So the next one we're going to talk about are the two healing herbs in the game. And so those ones are going to be St. John's Wort, which you can see right here. It's these small stringy little plants with the yellow flowers. These you're going to find all over the map, and I always recommend picking up a couple and always traveling with some because it's oh so important. The next type of plant we're going to talk about is Brood Leaf Plantain. It's these little plantain looking plants because they actually look a lot like plantain does in real life. I don't know if the St. John's Wort is accurate because I don't have that around me, but we do have plantain. So that's what that looks like. And now each of those is very, very important. Broadleaf plantain is a herb that heals. That's their description. It gives you 10 health. That's your hit points. That's this red bar or the red bar down on the bottom left. Now that gets damaged through combat, getting mauled by buffaloes, falling down things. You damage your health that way. So broadleaf plantain is important to keep with you because it restores health. St. John's Wort, the other one that we are picking, is an herb that reduces the level of poisoning. This bar over here, I hope you can see my cursor, otherwise this is not going to be a very good description. But this bar right here is poisoning. So you can get this a lot of ways. Every time you eat raw meat, you have the chance of getting poisoned. Certain mushrooms will poison you. That might be the only ways you can get poisoned, but it happens more often than you think. Oh, eating unripe berries, that'll poison you. There's quite a few things. But once you get that, you will slowly die. It'll bring your hit points down until you die, unless you eat St. John's Wort. As far as I know, poisoning does not go away without it. And it doesn't just one heal you. You have to eat enough until your poisoning is all the way down. So it's always good to keep a decent supply of broadleaf plantain and St. John's Wort on you. So when it comes to talking about food, it's important to remember that there's lots of different food and not all food is created equally. When you start off the game, you'll have a supply of apples, dried meat, and oat rolls. You can see I've already eaten the apples. You will go through food fast. And the most important things to pay attention to here are nutrition and condition. So if something goes all the way down to the bottom of condition, you're probably not going to want to eat it because it's going to be rotten and it's probably going to poison you. And nutrition is important because, as I said, not all food is created equally. You can see meat has a nutrition of 2.0, which means it'll heal 2 points of your hunger. And then you have oat rolls, which have 45, which is a lot more, as most people would be able to tell. So here you can see, let's eat 2 of these. So that brings our hunger, up to 53, or down to 53 it should be, since you're no longer hungry. Let's try an oat roll. Basically the whole thing. So that's kind of the lesson in why nutrition is so important. At a basic level, early in the game, a lot of people are going to be tempted to buy food. And you're going to want to look for someone like this. There's basically 2 of them. Now you can buy food from different traders, but not as many options. But there's one in Gustovia here, the main town that you're going to spend most of your time in, and then there's another one down in Hornica that sell the largest variety of food. So if you need to buy food, these are the people you're going to want to go to. And they sell all sorts of stuff. And again, like I said, now if you're buying food, price is also very important. But the best food you can buy, just all around anywhere, is going to be flatbread. It keeps really well. It's only 20 gold, so it's pretty cheap compared to some of the other things, and it has the highest nutrition of anything you can buy. So you see that's 40. 2 of those almost fills you all the way up from 0. The next couple things that are closest are like stew and soup, but those are both significantly more expensive and also don't keep as well in your inventory. So if you need to buy food, I recommend only buying flatbread. Don't buy anything else unless it's specifically to make something. Let's say you were going to make a pie or something. If you're cooking and you needed to buy some cherries or something, then I can see that. But if you're going to buy food to eat it, don't buy anything but flatbread. But the even better advice I have is don't buy food. There's so much food in the world that you can get so much easier and so much cheaper. If you buy food, you're constantly going to be wasting money on it because you're going to need to spend all your time in between the times that you purchase food, making money just to afford that expensive habit. So one of the ways to feed yourself, especially early game, is going to be by gathering. And during the spring, which you can see is the season we're in, signified by the green tree up there, there's really only one type of mushroom that you'll find, and it's these morel mushrooms. These are generally not poisonous. I say that because I feel like I've been poisoned by them before, so I'm not 100% sure how that system works, but they can be eaten raw. They don't really provide a whole lot of health, so I generally don't spend too much time with them, but if you're in a pinch and it's springtime, when there's really not that many options, and you just desperately need a little bit of food, maybe you're about to starve to death, you can look around. These are pretty easy to find all over in wooded areas. They do provide 1 health, or 1 nutrition, I should say, so you have to eat quite a few of them to actually fill yourself up. But, like I said, in a pinch, they work, and in the fall, you can find many more options. Basically, the general rule of thumb with fall mushrooms is, because you have to be careful because some of them are poisonous, don't eat anything with strange colors. So the safest mushroom to eat, and also the most plentiful, is going to be the parasol mushroom, which is going to be a very regular looking mushroom, tall, flat top, it'll be entirely white. So those are easy to see, they're all over the place. Those are the safest mushrooms to eat. There's going to be some red polka dot ones. I've been poisoned by those. I don't know if they're poisoned every time. You don't want those. And then there's going to be some shorter, stocky ones that are harder to find. I think those are poisonous all the time. So I would recommend not going with them. If you're going to get mushrooms in the fall, get the taller white ones. Another survival tip when it comes to gathering are berries. But it's very important that you don't eat these the wrong time of the year. So it's springtime, so I'm just going to pick a couple of these to show you what we've got. So these are always going to be unripe berries if you pick them in the spring. Don't eat them, they can cause poisoning. Sometimes they don't, like you might be able to eat a couple and not get poisoned, but eventually if you're eating these and during the spring they don't provide much nutrition, you can see it's a half a nutrition, that's pretty low. So you'd have to eat a lot, I guarantee you're probably going to get poisoned. So, I mean, we can just try it out. See, we just got poisoned. We didn't get poisoned with the first 2, but by the 3rd one we were poisoned. So now we have to eat St. John's wort and slowly reduce the poisoning. So it's not a good system. You can pick them to sell them, and it says you can use them as a dyeing resource. So if you make clothing or whatever, you can dye it green by using these, but they're not a good way to go. But you can eat them in the summer when you pick them, and they will pick as just regular berries, and these are going to be blueberries. These are a decent survival tactic because A, they heal slightly more, but they also give you water, so you won't be thirsty after you eat enough of these to fill you up. So you won't need to go for water, so they're useful for that. They're also a decent money-making tactic because you can carry a whole lot of them. So you clear out a whole section and go sell them, you can make 300 or 400 gold. So it's pretty useful that way. So the most obvious way to get food, especially early game, but this is going to be something you're going to use throughout the game, is going to be to hunt. Oops. And to hunt, you're going to need some sort of a weapon. I like using wooden spears, especially early game, because they're just really deadly. This is a great way to get resources because it's fast, easy. You get XP from hunting. It's kind of fun, if I'm being honest. So yeah, all you have to do to hunt is have some sort of weapon, and that's going to be bows, crossbows, or spears. And then you're going to need some sort of a knife to skin them. Once you skin them, you get fur, leather, and meat, depending on the animals. And you can eat basically any kind of it. You can eat it raw, but there's a chance to poison, so I don't recommend eating it raw. I prefer to cook it. This is also going to be important late game because instead of just cooking plain meat, you can also cook more complex dishes. If you're feeling adventurous while you're hunting, you can take down one of these bad boys. And for these, I definitely recommend the spear. Because with a bow, it takes quite some time to kill them. But with a spear, 2 headshots takes them down. And you get quite a bit of leather and meat from them. So if you can take down the Vicent, like if you're spear hunting, I definitely recommend going after them. Otherwise, it's really easiest to go after any animal that will attack you instead of running away. So foxes, deer, and rabbits will run away from you. Vicent, wolves, and boars will attack you. Because you actually live pretty long in the game. Like they don't kill you immediately like they would in real life. So you usually have time to take another shot, as you saw from those wolves that were attacking me. So now that we've got a bunch of raw meat, what we're going to want to do is make a fire. So we go over to here. For this, you're going to need enough sticks to make a fire, or logs if you've got that leveled up, and a torch. Once you've got that, you can make a fire, and then we can cook. So when you're all alone, I mean not all alone, early in the game, you can't make salted meat yet. A, you don't have salt. Or no roasted meat. You need salted meat to make roasted meat. So anyway, this is going to be the one that you're going to be able to make. So you press R, do E, and F, and you're going to be able to cook all of your meat that you've just hunted. So now that you've cooked all your meat, you're going to have a readily available supply of nutritious and stable meat. You don't really get poisoned by it. So this one only provides 6 nutrition, so it's not a long-term plan. It gives you more than dried meat, but it's, you know, not the best. But that being said, it's free and plentiful, super easy to get, super fast, and you eat a couple of them and you're full again. Now, the next step where you can take it from here is where the cooking gets even more exciting. So let's say you've gotten to the point in the game where you've maybe got a farm or lots of money so you can buy stuff, and you've got carrots and onions. So there's different recipes that you can make with such things, and they're obviously going to be much better than the ones before. So there are both raw meat and roasted meat options, so I always suggest holding on to your meat until you find out, you know, for sure which recipe needs what, and then you can cook it. So what you're going to need is a pot, and you can either use the one, like once you build your own inn, there'll be one in there, or you can use a cooking pot in your house. All houses come with a cooking pot. So you're going to see that since we have carrots, onions, meat, and roasted meat, we can make 2 of the recipes in here. You have stew, and then you have meat with gravy. So we can make a stew, so let's do that. And we can make some meat with gravy, so we'll do that. And now that you've made a little bit more, or that I should say we've made a little bit more advanced, you can see the benefits start rolling in. So the nutrition for meat with gravy is 25 and the stew is 35, making it way, way better than either eating the onions or carrots raw or the meat raw or even having the meat cooked. You don't get poisoned by it and it fills you up really well. I go with the meat with gravy over the stew because you only need one onion and 1 roasted meat, and it gives you 25 nutrition, whereas for the stew you need 3 carrots and 1 raw meat. So the meat with gravy is actually my favorite thing to make, at least from a meat standpoint. An important thing to note is when you store food like this in a chest, it doesn't degrade. So you can make as much as you want, keep it in a chest, either in here or in your house, and it's going to keep forever. So you don't need to worry about your food spoiling. As far as other things go, once you start farming and farming grain, you can make flour, and with that you can bake. For that, you're going to need the higher level inn, so I can't demonstrate it here because I don't have one. But then you're going to be able to start making baked goods, like the best things in the game, which are those the flatbread and stuff like that. You're going to be able to start making things like that, and then once you get there, food is never really a problem. But you can also fish, and you can do that by setting up fish traps, which you can do through crafting over here in traps, and there's going to be fishing nets and stuff you can use. In addition to that, you can also use these other traps, bird traps and hunting and rabbit traps. These are going to be good for catching, well, obviously rabbits or birds, where you're going to get meat and fur from the rabbits and meat and feathers from the birds. So that's a more passive way if you don't want to run around hunting all the time. Pick some woods where you know there's rabbits, set up 5 or 6 rabbit traps, and then go back and you can collect your rabbits later because they'll catch rabbits. Same thing goes for birds. You go to an area where you can hear birds, set those traps up, you'll catch some birds. So those are definitely good ways to get food. Like I said, once you get into farming, you can obviously get food in very large amounts. You're going to need to farm for vegetables like cabbage, carrots, and onions if you want to make the more advanced meat items. Through fishing, you can get fish, and with fish or meat of the raw variety, once you have salt, which you can get from a few traders around the map, or you can mine it, which is the easiest way to get it in bulk, you can actually salt your fish or meat, which is going to increase its lifespan in your inventory so you can carry it for a nice long time, and also increase its nutritional value. And there's also certain recipes that you can only make with the salted variety of the fish or the meat. So that, in a nutshell, is basically the nutrition, food, and water survival guide for Medieval Dynasty. If you have any recommendations, suggestions, anything you'd like to see in the game, let me know down in the comment section. But in any case, thanks for watching, and have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.